All right. So as long as you're all happy with that, everything we say from here is we're going to be sharing on our chat for people who want to see the replay, and we've got a load of resources for you today. So what is the title of our session? Well, our session is all around doubling your income and working half the time. And how do we do that? And that's what we're going to do for the first part. I'm going to kind of riff for about 20 minutes on this, and then we're going to leave 15, 20 minutes at the end for further comments, chat, whatever we can help you with from there. I love to make it more the round table side. So don't just kind of make it a question and answer session. Give your thoughts. What have you seen? What have you tried in the past that's worked? We really want to kind of develop that community in a second part. Cool. So I love this quote from Alice in Wonderland, which is this question that she asks the Cheshire Cat, you know, what road do I take? And the Cheshire Cat says, well, where are you going? And she goes, well, I don't know. And then the Cheshire Cat says, well, then it doesn't matter. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And it doesn't matter. It's the same sort of question you could be asking at the start of each year. If you don't really know in December, when we finish, say the 18th of December, when it's the last working day, and you kind of look back and go, did I achieve that thing that I set out to do with my business? If you don't know what that revenue is, or what that type of business is, or what you personally want to be able to take out your business every single month, week, year, you will just kind of meander for another year. And crikey, I've done this in the past, where you just think, yeah, I've got these great little projects, I want to work on this, or I've got clients that are kind of, asking me for stuff right at the start, and I'm really, really busy, but I didn't take the time to plan the most important things in my business. And that is vital. Otherwise, we'll just meander for a year and never really get anywhere, because we don't actually aim at something. And I know that you all know this. I don't mean to teach you to suck eggs, but I think that people make a big mistake when they're trying to plan exactly what they want from their business. I say to people, how much do you want your business to be turning over? And people say, oh, I'd like to be turning over $1 million. Or at the lower stage, that we go, oh, I'd like to be turning over, say 100,000, 200,000, whatever. Or I go to people, well, how much do you want to take out your business? And everybody says 10 grand a month. Yeah, it's kind of the go-to thing. We all love to take 10 grand a month out, right? But 10 grand a month is such a round figure. What does that actually mean for you? What are you doing with that? How have you got it to exactly 10 grand? And so that's where we feel that you need to start. Business is personal. And if we can't actually focus on the personal side of business and build your company to be able to achieve what your personal ambitions are, then what's the point in being a small business owner? There is no point. It's all about creating a company that can feed your personal wealth, personal life. And that's exactly why we do this, right? There's lifestyle, there's time, which is an important thing. So I went into business because I thought that having my own business would give me more time back. What a lie that was. And then I went into business thinking that I'd make a bit more money, or I'd have a better lifestyle. And so those things are important to design, and you can design both of them. And that's the deep dive we're going to take today. So first of all, double your income, step one. And then step two is work half the time. So what is the target? What do you need to sell to reach it? And how do you get the leads to be able to make the appointment, to be able to make the sales, right? So let's kind of think about this from a perspective of planning, right? So what we want to do is step 1.1, planning. Now, I'm going to show you guys very briefly an exercise that we do in detail with our $1 million sprinters. And I'm going to show you the spreadsheet that we call Maths and Balls. Why is it called Maths and Balls? Well, maths is the part where we actually put the entire plan together. And the balls bit is where we actually go, right, let's go and hit this thing and have the confidence to go after it. And without the maths, how can we have the balls and the confidence to go for it, right? So it's important to do this information. Now, I'm going to share a format of this spreadsheet with you guys. It's going to be a follow-up here. So I'm going to give you a follow-up of the video, and I'm also going to give you an access to the Google Sheet for you to be able to play with, okay? So I'm going to send that to you after this call. So don't worry, we've got your back. We're going to be sending this over to you, okay? But first of all, I want to give you this income target piece, right? And so the point of creating a spreadsheet where you actually look at your personal revenue That is vitally important, because personally, what do you want to take for your business, right? So on the left-hand side, you'll see all the different elements that and just for transparency, I share openly what mine is. So you can then actually see exactly how that might work for you, right? And so on the left-hand side, you've got all the different things that you might be buying, things from houses, from cars, to holidays, to cleaners and gardeners and whatever it is, money towards investments, right? And so that gives you what annual repayments are, monthly repayments are. There's, if you're trying to work through this spreadsheet, there's a little loan finance valuation thing if you want to go do those sort of things. And at the end of it, it will tell you for an ideal lifestyle. So if you wanted to put down not just what you currently are needing, because that's the mistake that people make. They work out, well, I need to take out $5 grand a month. But actually, what do you want? What type of holidays you want? Why do we build the business for what you want, not what you need, right? And so you get to a figure of where you want to get to per month, right? And say you go down here, and obviously the ideal, the kind of, houses and school fees and all the rest of it, right? So that gives you a big figure to target, right? So say that figure gets down there to about 17 grand a month, etc. If that's there, people have different figures, right? So it's just, you work out what yours is. Now, what we then teach is to talk about the Profit First system. And so Profit First is a great book. If you haven't read it, do read it. And it tells you about siloing your business into different hoppers to be able to know actually what percentage of your revenue goes in different hoppers. And the way that we coach our clients is to help them to take 50% of revenue out personally as the business owner. If you've got a different team, or if you're here, then you're not the business owner, then this will all be around just talking to the owner himself and actually working out, well, what is the revenue they want to take out of the business, and then working out what percentage of the target that is, so you can then go after that target. And of course, therefore, maybe talk about bonuses for yourself for helping the business owner hit that target. So that's just a way of positioning that if you're not the business owner. But if you're the business owner, we say take 50% of your revenue home personally, right? So in this instance, it means that my business would need to be turning over £34,000 per month to be able to achieve that. Now, that's really interesting. So if we then annualize that, that's £412,000. Now, that's really exciting, particularly when we talk about, the $1 million sprint and getting people to $1 million in revenue. Actually, suddenly looking at this spreadsheet, if this was your example, you don't need to get to $1 million in revenue. You only need to get to £412,177.84. And now suddenly you have an actual realistic target. And when I say realistic, some of you might be going, oh, crikey, that's a lot, but it's a real target. It's not like 10 grand a month, is it? It's a real target. And so now it means something. And it doesn't just mean, oh, I'll be able to have like a nice, life. It actually means I'll be able to go skiing every year. I can go to the holidays. I can go do this stuff. The kids can go to private school. It means more than just an arbitrary figure. It means all of those important things that you will hold true in whatever you put onto this spreadsheet. And so every single piece of energy means those things, and that reward comes to you. And it's such important to actually have that right in your brain and to go after it and to really, really know it means something, right? So once you've got that, that's where you're heading. So by month 12, you want to get to a position that you're turning over 34 grand a month. Cool, right? But we need to make sure that we do it in a way that is done in a sympathetic way to give you enough budget to be able to spend the money on the things that are required to create that growth. So let me just show you that. So when you talk about Profit First, if anybody hasn't read Profit First, just read it. But essentially, it will just tell you to look at, if you categorize things in your spending and look at what the percentage allocation is for that, and therefore know per month, that's the target you want to put into those different allocations. So for example, holidays would be 12% of my revenue, cars would be 8%, school and medical would be 16%. So when you get money in, you can still divide up on a percentage basis each time you get money in, right? Now that works the same way with business. So you can have your operational expenses at 30%, your tax at 15%, owner's comp of 50% and profit of 5%, right? Because obviously your owner's compensation is your profit. So it kind of works out as a 5% retained and a 50% dividend, right? So as you can start to see here, that means based upon this, I would have 10 grand a month to spend on the ads, the people, the delivery in my business if we're working these percentages. And as you say, you can change these percentages however you want to work on it. So now I know what I can spend. So that's cool. So now we need to know, well, actually, what am I going to sell to be able to achieve that? And we talk about this flagship product. And when I talk about the flagship product, what we see a lot of the times, the small business owners kind of think, well, I need to go and create this lovely tiered value of services. I need to have like a free thing at the start, and then I need to do like an initial offer for like 10 quid or 50 quid or whatever it is. Then I need to go and hit someone with a price tier of like, a few hundred quid. And then I need to go hit them with another proper, a product, and then a big thing. And the issue is you're just now creating multiple pieces of complexity that you've got to deliver for multiple different target audience members. And ultimately that takes a lot of time and energy to, one, deliver, two, to sell, and three, to keep all those people happy on these different tiers, right? And we say, just screw that, make your life simple, get rid of that whole complexity in your business and do F to F. And that doesn't say face-to-face, that's free to flagship. What do I mean by free to flagship? I mean that you are going to sell one core offering that's going to really help you to be able to achieve this goal. Because if you can sell one high ticket item and get really good at it, one, good at delivering it, good at selling it, then that's all you need. Because let's look at this, let's get realistic, right? So remember, it's a nice target that we're going for. It's a really good lifestyle, right? So let's look at this flagship product. So say your flagship product was, I'm just going to throw some figures, right? So say you do like a 5 grand flagship product for say 6 months, a 6-month flagship product, or a 5 grand, if you're Matt Williams, 5 grand website, or if you are at 5 grand website, and then after that you do like a hosting package, right? So Matt's going to do £5,000. Oh, hello, let's do this. Hello. So he would do £5,000 for his initial website, and then say he does a 6 months of £147 worth of hosting and sorting out of his website, right? So 147 times by 6 months, because remember the website build was a 6 months project, that gives us 882. So his value of a client on his flagship built a website, supported the website, was 5,882 quid, right? And so that means that one sale for Matt equals that. Cool, right? So you can start to think about that. If you're a coach, you might do like a 5 grand coaching thing, accelerator for 6 months, and then they're like a lower membership, whatever it is, you just think about that. You might have a flagship product that's £3,000 or £10,000, whatever it is, but have a high ticket item, okay? Now we go, okay, well, great. Well, look, let's now start to think about, well, how many of these would I need to sell to be able to achieve this figure per month? Well, if you divide that by that, it means that I would only need to sell 5.84. So how many would that be based on a 4-point week? Well, it's only 1.46, or let's just round that up, 1.5 sales a week. So suddenly we're like, well, that's bloody achievable. 1.5 clients I've got to sell each week. So I've got to throw three clients every 2 weeks, 6 in a month. Well, suddenly that's kind of feels a little bit more malleable for this ideal lifestyle. All right, let's have a look at this. So then we go, well, how many demos do I need? And what do I mean by a demo? I.e. a sales meeting. So if you close 3 sales meetings for one client, oh, that's cool. Right. So now what we've got to think about, well, I need to therefore get, just over 4 sales meetings a week to be able to close by 1.5. Okay, so that's cool, right? So that means that I need to get some bookings. So how many bookings do I need? Because not everybody turns up to these things. Well, if I say that for 3 people turn up for every 4 bookings, well, that means I'm going to need to get just under 6 bookings in a week for my sales product. Okay, well, that's kind of achievable. So then we go, well, how many leads do I need? How many people inquiring or downloading ebooks or coming along to an event or listening to my podcast do I need to get one booking? And if we do like a 10-to-1 ratio, that means that we're looking at, say, 58 leads a week. Now, 58 leads may seem a lot. So let's think about, well, how can we make that happen? Well, let's look at all the organic stuff first, right? So there's cold email that you might be sending, you might be doing LinkedIn outreach. This is all the stuff that we coach our clients in our accelerator. We show them how to find data and do cold emails, do LinkedIn automation and outreach, work organic social, have a long-term warming up email sequence. These type of outreach are nice and organic, and these will start to yield some inquiries, right? So you start to think, well, actually, I've looked at my data. I get about 5 a week there, or 3 a week, or 1 inquiry because I'm working these systems. Okay, that's cool. And then you start, well, actually, that's only going to get me, if we look at this, to 21 a week. I need 58. So then you start thinking, well, maybe I need to now start to look at that number and go, well, actually, I've got to make up the rest with running some ads. And why are ads really important is you turn on some ads, you do some budget, you get inquiries. You pay money, you get inquiries. But this is where the balls bits come in, gang. So we start to scroll down a bit and we go, right, if we are running, so say, for example, when we teach our clients, we talk to them about using offshore cold email outreach. So that works out to about 250 quid. We talk about using like a designer and so on, managing your organic social. So we start to put like a 250 budget per month into that. We use a software that we're doing this LinkedIn organic outreach, about 75 quid. So these figures means that they're spending about 575 quid per month to run that organic and to drive those 21 inquiries. So that gives us this gap in terms of ads, right? And actually, to be fair, I just realized that it says 69 there. We only need 58. So let's just drop this down to 38. There you go. So we'll get 59. So now we've actually working out even less leads that we need to work on. The beauty of that, it means that these figures have come down. So if we're looking, so meta ads, so running Facebook ads, for example, you could do Google ads, etc., wherever your audience is hanging out. But you'll be looking, you'll have loads of budget at £7.50 a lead. We've got clients that get £2 a lead. We've got clients that, my leads on Facebook ads are about £4.50 a lead, right? So £7.50 is a good guess for you, and this is the collective you, right? So this is why it's a guess, because it's the average, right? But that gives you wiggle room. So you would be spending to buy those 38 leads about 285 quid a month, which means that your cost per lead per month is about 1,140 for ads. So your entire ad spend to get the inquiries that you need is 1,715. Now, gang, for the keen-eyed around you, you would have noticed here that that is less than 50% of Matt Williams' one client. And remember, he's going to be charging the £5,000 up front or within the first 6 months of that engagement. So he's going to be getting that cash back. But how many clients is he going to win for that 1,700 quid? Well, he's going to win, wherever it was, 6. You know, 6. He's basically buying 34 grand's worth of revenue for 1,700 quid. 1,700 quid. Now, if I told you that you're going to come here and I'm going to tell you to spend 1,700 quid a month on advertising, you'd probably be like, all right, mate, no worries. And I'd be like, fair enough. But I've shown you this, and yours will be different. But to have the cars, the houses, the holidays, I know it sounds very sensationalist, but sometimes we've got to actually say it. The things that you want. You might just want to do charity work and go build hospitals, hospitals and schools, in third world countries. That's cool. This is how you can create the assets to be able to build that and have the budget to be able to do that stuff, right? So this is how a business can function. So important, right? Now, what we do with our clients, I'm just going to show you really, really quickly. Once you have that set, we then start to say, well, look, what are you going to do? If you're going to get to that by the end of the year, then how are we going to break it down into sections? And then we put this into a 90-day plan, and you set what's your target for the first 90 days? And it might not be like that target divided by 4. It might be a ramping up process. So you can ramp down some of these things. And you then start to say, well, actually, that means that if I'm only going for how many sales do we put in here? Yeah. So if I'm only going for less leads, 38 leads, about half the amount of leads, what that means is I'll make only a sale every or 2 sales every one sale every week. Well, basically 0.75 of a sale, 3 sales in a month. That's a better way of showing you, right? So 3 sales in a month. And so that's what we're going to go for the first 90 days. That would mean that we would get 13 grand per month, and ultimately over the quarter would get 40K, which means that our run rate for the year, just at the first 90 days run rate, would be £162,000 in revenue, right? So what we're saying here, we're breaking this down into a smaller chunk for the first run. And then the second time we go and review it after 90 days, and we do quarterly events with our clients. We sit down in person with them, and we then review that and go, hey, how did you get on? What are you going to go target the next 90 days? And that's where you start to bring accountability into this. That's where you start to really go and think about your numbers, and you don't let your own foot off the gas because you know what you're targeting. If you didn't get the first quarter, 90 days, you didn't quite hit it, you go again, because the point being is that you'll have 4 opportunities to get up to that run rate of that perfect lifestyle. But because you've targeted it, you know where you're going to, then you're breaking it down into mouth-sized chunks and realistic chunks, and you start to build. You bring the revenue and the budget together to then be able to afford those type of ads, and you run at it. Cool. So that's how you start to really break this down. Now, because I want to give a bit of time for questions, I'm actually going to just simmer that concept there with you. And then I want to start to move on to the next piece, right? And I want to talk about, so we talked about how do you get the leads? And we talked about this kind of awareness piece with those different leads, meta ads, etc. And ultimately, we talk about doing that outreach work. So LinkedIn organic, meta ads, running different long-term warming up, and where are you bringing them back into? You're bringing them back into a consideration item. So you're generating leads. Those leads are then coming to go and view you. Maybe they're listening to the podcast like Gina was talking about earlier. Maybe they're coming along to an event like this. Maybe they're actually watching a webinar, but you've got to bring those leads. Maybe they're downloading your inbox into a consideration item. So there's no point just running Facebook ads into your website. You run Facebook ads into an ebook or a webinar or an event. Then once they do that, you then invite them to come to a sales meeting. That's where the bookings are that I showed you and the demos. And then from there, you then deliver. And you've got to delight people when they buy from you. You gamify your products so they win from you. And then if they're delighted and winning at your game, then they'll tell other people and they become advocates. So that's the system. That's our 5-step system to be able to work with you on that 6-step system. How does that transpire? Well, you plan out that campaign. Okay, so this is a thing that we do with our clients when they onboard, and we plan out a design for their funnel so they know exactly the type of product they're doing, right? So you should put a design together for your funnel. Cool. I'm going to just quickly talk about this for a couple of minutes. So then the work half the time. So that sounds like a lot of work, all that stuff, right? Doesn't it? Like, Jesus. The problem I had when I was running an agency, my marketing agency, and also when I first started coaching, is I spent too much time doing one-to-one stuff for my clients. I spent lots of time being the product. Now, let's talk about when you design yourself a coaching product. So if you're a coach, whatever type of coach you are, you might be a life coach, might be a mental health coach, might be a business coach, might be a marketing coach. You will know if you're doing stuff one-to-one, with clients, you'll be repeating yourself, all these different subjects, you'll be saying the same things, because that's why people come to you, because they know that you have some ideas around some stuff. You may have a core idea, core syllabus. What we say to clients is put all those ideas into an online program and have that as the kind of library of your brain, so people can dive into that all the time with different training and break that down. Now, what should you put in there? Well, whenever you're trying to sell anything, you actually tell people about the result. You sell the result, right? So you want to, for us, we help people to be able to sprint to $1 million in revenue. When you're Matt Williams, you will be helping people to generate leads, which is his website. And when you're Robin, you're trying to create amazing videos for people. The result is, and it's not just the video that he wants to create. And I'm sorry, Robin, I know we're talking later, so I might be paraphrasing exactly what you do. So, but I'll just let's say pure video, right? Actually, it's not a video I want. I want to be able to look good online, get my message across, and achieve an objective such as generate inquiries. So actually, Robin's selling inquiries to me, right? Through the format of video. So where I am now is I haven't really got my message out. I don't know where I am. And there's a journey to get you from where you are now to the result. And that journey has a different steps. And that is what people buy. They buy the result, and they logically justify through the journey you show them, and you empathize with where they are now. So when someone buys coaching or marketing or whatever it is from you, you then take these different steps that you've just showed them in this journey map, you push them into these different modules. Awesome. Now, if you're doing a marketing done for you, you may be doing some of these modules for them, but by showing them that and giving them a place where they can actually see, like a project management area, they can see tasks getting done, or as a coach, these are videos where they can train, you now have the resource that they're buying, right? Because we can now get rid of one-to-one. So say we do an onboarding with people, they go into this program. Now what you can do is everybody's going through the same sort of journey. So you can put drop-in clinics together, right? And those drop-in clinics, people can come along, they do this, they go and come and see the drop-in clinic. They go, great, we're enjoying this. Do this, come and see drop-in clinic, ask some questions. You say, go do this and this, and come back. That can be done in a group scenario. So instead of having, say, 50 clients that are having 2 sessions with you a month, so that's going to be 100 one-to-one sessions in a week, in a month, which is impossible because there's only 20 working days, right? And you're not going to be doing like 5 sessions a day in a month. So you just can't have 50 one-to-one. It's impossible. But you could have 100 people in this, and they can still be dropping into these clinics. You can add extra drop-in clinics if you wanted to. This is totally scalable. And because there's multiple sessions for them, it's as valuable, if not more valuable, than just 2 sessions one-to-one. This is like 4 to 5 sessions if you want to add extra sessions in a week. It could be 3 sessions. But for you, that's 3 hours of delivery versus 100 hours of delivery, impossible hours of delivery. Even if you had 10 clients, you're still doing 20 hours of delivery versus 3 hours per week, right? So that's how you get scalable. And then, of course, you add a VIP community, and you can continue to help people, and they can support each other in there, right? So this is the perfect type of accelerator. It's like a hybrid model that's totally scalable, and it will help you to work half the time. When I was an agency, we used to have projects. So we did these big video projects, marketing. So this is for the marketers, right? So what we would do is I would one-to-one someone on the way in to our agency. And in that session, I'd have a campaign manager. And that campaign manager would then, and initially it was just a VA that would work a few hours on a couple of clients. I would say, right, we are going to book a meeting in 2 months' time to review how you're getting on. And in the interim, we're going to send you a weekly report via the campaign manager, weekly report. So it meant that I actually then coached the client right at the start that I am not available until 2 months' time. And you are going to have a campaign manager that's going to tell you about this marketing stuff in between. And that is the way that we work. And so the beauty of that is that you then have a fully scalable operation where you're just seeing a client every 2 months, maybe even every quarter, right? And so you now are only spending 2 hours, and we were selling this stuff at £3,500 per month, right? For each client. So, 3,500, by the time I see them, my business has already done 7K, and I've only spent 1 hour. Not bad, right? because we systemized and processed, and we had our, where are you now? What's the result? We had our windy road, and the client knew where they were on the steps, and we kept on updating them on the steps, and communication was king. Double your income, work half the time. That's all I got to say about that. So good to see you, my pedigree chums. I want to foster some conversation and debate now around this. Fantastic to see a few $1 million sprinters on track as well. Really good to see you in here. So we're going to just open this up. Let's just chat away. Talk to me about what your thoughts are, or any opinions you've had on this. Into the room.
I have a question.
Go for it, Craig.
Hi everyone. It was more about the spreadsheet of your kind of targets and running the profit first system. The roadblock I came across when doing that is, like, you've got your target. Let's say your target's 500,000 revenue a year. What do you do on a rolling month basis as you're scaling and you're not hitting that target? Because some of those costs are kind of fixed costs, so percentages have to kind of ebb and flow and change depending on what your monthly revenue is. So
great question.
Managing that.
Great question. So I'm going to just reshare that spreadsheet. So the point here is, it works. I do this both for personal and also for business. Okay, so I've got a profit first for my personal business account, my personal accounts, and I have these many accounts here. So what's that? 6 accounts, and I have 4 accounts in there. There's actually 5 accounts in profit first, because you have an income account and then you distribute it into those. These are separate business accounts. You can use Starling in different spaces within Starling if you wanted to. So this percentage, I still allocate because it's good drills, right? The money comes into the income account, and if it's personal, I will still allocate 20%, 26%, 10%, 28%. The money comes into the income account of profit first, I'll do 30, 15, 55, right? And then when the payments come out and say the operational expenses is 5 grand short, I'm thinking, oh shit. So then you have to make an assessment on who's going to lend you that money. Is it the tax man who's going to lend you the money because you're overspending on expense? Is it you personally as the owner? Are you going to then reinvest some more of your owner's fund back in to be able to keep the business running? Is it the profit, the rainy day fund that you're going to go in? And it can't be rainy day every week, right? So it's just a psychological move to be able to make you go, well, every single week when I'm doing these payments, I'm having to lend the business back more money to be able to pay for this bloody stuff, or, to sort out the things. And so you then know that the next time someone asks you, oh, do you want to go do this thing? Or do you want to go, or you think, well, actually, maybe I'll go and buy a new piece of machinery, or I'll, upgrade my laptop. You already know that you're going to have to lend your business that out of the money that you would like to take out. And so it actually makes you, psychology starts to cut. It really does. And it's great how it works that way, because it's all about setting your mindset for success. I will, by the end of the year, be at that level, and therefore I will make it happen. And the beautiful thing, because this week I flew past this target for myself, which is a lovely thing. So when you do it, you go, wow, I did that, I achieved that, and now I've got a run rate, particularly if you can have it as a recurring revenue model. You have a run rate that's achieving that every single month. You're like, fucking hell, how did that happen? And the answer is because you planned it, you visualized it, and you acted it every single week, and you got pissed off when it wasn't quite there. So it inspired you to go and do it more and do it more. And that, I think, is a really important point, that it sets you up for success, and it keeps driving towards the singular goal. I'm like the power of one. I sell one thing, I do one marketing funnel, I have one weekly moment, we're on it. I've got one type of sales conversation, and I deliver for my clients with that one type of training. And so it's really, and I've got one goal because I know what I want to revenue target. And so once you line all those ones up, then you've got less complexity in your life and lots more focus, and therefore you will go after it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think that could have been the one thing that the missing piece of the puzzle the last time I gave that system a crack. So I'll give it another go for this year.
Nice, good stuff, good stuff. Guys, just so you know, just whilst I'm sharing, last year I was doing these sessions as group sessions. I've actually, for the right clients, I'm opening up my diary one-to-one for clients to talk about this stuff. It's called the free strategy session. I think this page, for whatever reason, still has 90 minutes. I have to change that. It's a 45-minute session, one-to-one with me, completely free. For me to go and talk about, well, look, what is your targets? What is your revenue targets? You know, we don't have to go as detailed as that in the session, but just get a feel for it and to give you some further ideas, and then look at lead generation. How can you generate those leads for it? How can you actually then create a weekly moment that, you know, is it an event? Is it a podcast? Is it an article that you want to send out? What would it be? What is your flagship product? How can we package it up into a scalable solution? So all of those blockers, from awareness, consider, convert, and deliver, we discuss together on that session. So you can see it's on this page here. You see this orange button here? So when you go and click that, and I'm just going to share this in the chat with you all now. So just look out for the chat now. Just get the chat open. There you go. It's in there now. Can we see that? Give us a thumbs up. Wicked. Okay, so what you do is click on that, and you'll see that there's some spaces available. Just got a few there. Just jump onto there and you just click on that. You know, you've all seen Calendly before. Just confirm it. There's a couple of different things to ask. So, you know, are you a coach, course creator, or marketing agency? That's the people that we specialize with. So if you're not that, we don't do those strategy sessions, just to know. And then we'll want to know, where do you want to be in 12 months' time? You don't have to give me the exact figure, but just give me a feel for, you know, what type of team do you want to be? Or how big do you want to get it? Who do you want to be serving? And add that in, and we'll be able to do those sessions with you. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'm going to cancel this. So if anybody wants that appointment, let's do that. You know, looking forward to seeing you guys in that strategy session. Right, we've got loads of time left. So further questions, going back into the room. Oh, I did that. Colleen says, I did the sessions. You have to do it. Awesome. Wicked. Okay, thank you. Jump into the room there. Yes, John Gower, sir.
This is really, really useful and a reminder of what you're doing in business. But we briefly spoke about a personal survival budget. It surprises me how many people actually set up a business and don't know how much money they need to pay themselves in order to survive their business. They say, oh, I'll make £3,000 worth of sales. Oh, that'll be fine. But to have an in-depth a sheet like that just reminds us all of what we're in business for. So I appreciate it.
No problem at all. As I said, I'll be looping that round to you guys on an email after this with the recap video of this session. Give us an hour or so just to do that, and then we'll get that across to you guys after this session. Thank you, John. Further questions, gang, into the room. Ryan, you've got a question. Just unmute and ask the question.
Yeah, sorry. When the product is not meeting based in terms of like one-to-ones, like you discussed, rather it's like in-person visits. Obviously, we're an IT management company, so like when IT goes down, sometimes you need to go to site, or obviously we offer like new hardware and software, etc. How would that work with stage 2 of this program, where it's all about like one-to-ones and making it a group session and so on and so forth?
Yeah, so the example that I gave you on my marketing agency is actually the implementation of it. So remember, and Ryan, this is so as that model about work half the time is very much for the owner of the business, or the person that actually wants to work less in the business, right? So that's the model for it. So although I didn't necessarily want to work less, I was working way too much in my marketing agency. So I had to spread myself further. So if the founder comes in, you do the sale, and you do the kind of, they used to call me the mascot. So I'd go in, shake a couple of hands, say hello at the first meeting, set the plan, and then tell them that I'm going to meet them again in 2 months' time. Okay. Then my team will be checking in and letting them know, doing reporting every single week to give them an update on where they are. Now, from your perspective, that'd be really easy. You could tell people about the IT uptime report. You could be telling people about how well the connectivity is going in their offices. And then if if they need to have some delivery done, they would phone you and come in. So we had to deliver as the marketing agency every week. We were running ads for people, we were doing SEO, we were writing emails and articles for them. So there was always deliverables, and there's always team working on it, similar to how you would be working. It's just as the founder, what happens, people buy from you and they're like, oh, this is a lovely guy, Richard. I really loved you. You know, and then something goes wrong and they're like straight on the phone. Richard, can I just speak to Richard, please? Because there's like, you know, there's a typo in this article that he sent across. And I'm like, a typo. It's like, I've got like 28 staff and you're calling me about a typo. Like, come on, man. Like, you know, and so it's an easy thing. It's, oh no, Richard booked in to meet you, do a proper review, but I'll help you with the typo. No worries. And then after a while, every client gets trained into that place.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much.
No worries. Cool. So guys, I'm sticking around for another 5-10 minutes. We're officially at our 45 minutes past, which is kind of where we say that this is going to be. But I love answering further questions, and I know there will be more. So just before anybody dives off, if you are going to dive off, just remember, jump onto here. Let's have some time together. Let's book into this strategy session here. I'm going to copy and stick it into the chat one more time for you. By the way, I've also had a couple of pings on my mobile telling me about some bookings that have already been made. So I'm looking forward to whoever that was. If you haven't done that yet, it's in there. There's a couple of slots already gone, so do jump in there. Great. Back into the room then, gang. Further questions. How can I help? Or thoughts?
Hi, Richard.
Hello.
How you doing?
Richard.
Yeah,
name.
thanks very much for that. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to our call later on. My question is, let's say you haven't built a business like this and you've done it in the traditional way with the tiered kind of, you know, lower value core offering and then upsell to like one-to-one. What are your thoughts on how you migrate your existing client base into the kind of new reality?
So when you're going low value product up, that's relatively easy. So what you do is you go pitch to all of your low value people and say, hey, I've got this amazing thing. This our VIP offer. I want to meet with you personally and talk to you about it. And you basically go, they're the first people you pitch it to and you sell them into your flagship product. But you also tell them that you are going to then discontinue support for that product and let them know that kind of, yes, it's nice the thing that they brought, but ultimately this is, you know, you're just doing this. If you want to do that, you can just carry on maintaining, but the big thing is you stop selling the low value piece. If you've got one-to-one, it's kind of even easier. So what you do with your one-to-one is you say to them, hey, we've launching this awesome like community segment, this additional piece to your one-to-one coaching. Is this community piece with these drop-in clinics, the core stuff. And the beautiful thing about it is I'm going to give the whole thing to you for free as part of your one-to-one coaching. And I always say to clients, never fire your one-to-ones, just keep them in there, but never replenish. And over the course of the next year, that money will be good for you whilst you're building up your VIP, and you just keep the one-to-ones until they stop. And when they stop, you just don't replenish them, you know? And some of them will, you know, say, actually, I'd like to just downgrade and do the community stuff. You know, some of them will carry on and go through. I mean, between you and me and everybody else on this call, I think I've got 3 one-to-one clients that I've had for donkey's years, and they are legacy all the way through. And I just kept them because you kind of feel, you know, really kind of committed in there, and you enjoy seeing them. So you just carry on. But I just take on 0 new one-to-one clients, and I haven't done for best part of 2.5 years now. So that's how you play that one, Rich.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Cool. Ryan, back into Ryan.
Hello. Sorry, I'm back. So actually following on from what Richard just said, if you've got that tiered system and a client's already signed up for one of these tiers, how would you kind of bring them into the higher tier? I know you said about having like a one-to-one meeting, but with the initial sale of getting them into that tiered system, saying this is the product that's going to help you get to where you want, so on and so forth. how would you then be like, actually, this is better, when you've already convinced them that that was the best for them at the time, rather than the higher up tier,
Yeah,
so to speak?
I think, I mean, look, the most important thing to probably say here, gang, is what I'm showing you with that diagram is like a new business growth model. So a lot of this is around stop selling all these different complexities and go and sell your best solution to the best fitting clients. Because let's face it, if you give people like bronze, silver, gold, rest of it, like, actually just fucking, which one's best for me? That's what you just said to them, basically, Ryan. You just told them which one's best for them. But by showing them 3 options and then telling them, oh, the middle one's best for you, they're just basically taking the one that you told them was best for them. Or they couldn't afford it, so they bought the cheap one, which wasn't best for them because the original one was best for them. So just get rid of all the complexity and just say, this is what I do. I've got this awesome, all singing, all dancing flagship product, and it's going to help you to get that result, and it's the best thing for you, and it's $5,000. Bam. That's it, nothing else. And so new people coming on board, and then of course what you say to the older people, you say, hey, you know, we've been working together for 6 months or so. I thought we'd do our 6-month review. Oh, by the way, we've been looking at your progress and actually think that perhaps you would get more benefit of joining this all singing, all dancing, amazing, shiny thing here, because you're missing out on this and this and this and this and this. Would you like so?
Okay, yeah. I was actually going to ask before you finished, said that last bit. I was going to be like, yeah. Well, what about the old clients? Are they staying on that or so on and so forth? But no, you covered that. So
exactly. And look, you can discontinue. You can fire clients if they're really taking. Some people get themselves in a position where they have given so much of their personal time away to delivering something that sometimes it's better just to say at the end of this year we're stopping this, and everything's there. And the reason why you would do that is you're making so much more money and you're having so much more fun with your flagship that you just kind of sack off the other one. That's what.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
Cool. Right, guys. I'm going to close the meeting for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Do remember to jump in and let's have that one-to-one. And if not, we run this every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. So I'll see you on the flip side. And for the sprinters that are on this call, I'll see you in about 9 minutes. Big love. Take care. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
What is that thing? Anne, I love that, Anne. Yes. Bye now.